In this lesson, we'll take a look at getting our geometry and maps out of ZBrush and into Cinema 4D. So here in ZBrush, we've got UVs assigned to all of our different pieces, and we've got 5 different pieces here. And so let's go ahead and set these up. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to get the maps out. So we want to get the color maps out, we want to get the normal maps baked out. So let's start just up at the top on the blade. And to get the polypaint data baked into a texture map, we'll leave it at the highest level because that's going to show the most detail in our color map because the colors are based on the polygons there. And so at the highest level, let's go ahead and go down to texture map, and we'll create a new texture from polypaint. So it's going to go ahead and create that texture. You can see that texture there, which has all the color, including the bony pieces on the side. Now we want to create a normal map. So we'll go down to normal map, and I'm going to take this down. Let's actually take this all the way down to level 1. Take it down to the level that we're going to be exporting, which in this case on the blade is going to be level 1. Okay, and I'm going to turn off smooth UV and leave tangent on, and let's see what that gives us. So we'll go to create normal map, and so that's going to be the normal map that's created for the blade, and you can kind of see that the bony pieces there on the blade. Okay, let's do the same thing down on the grip. So at the highest level, let's output that texture map. So we'll go to texture map, new from polypaint. That will create our texture map. You can see there. Now we'll take that down to its lowest level. Now in this case, if you want to output the lowest level, you can. You could also come in if you wanted to get a little bit more detail. For instance, out here, you could output at level 2, which in that case is 300 polygons. So if you want to do that, you just go ahead and I'm going to delete lower. And so this would be our next highest level. Now depending on how low resolution you want to get, you can certainly use the lower resolution. I just want to get a little bit more of this shape in here, so I'm going to use level 2. And then we'll go down to normal map, and let's create our normal map. So you can see that normal map here. Okay, and both of these are on, so we've got the texture on, we've got the normal map loaded up in here. Let's move our way down to the guard. So here we have the guard. Okay, it's at the highest level. We'll create our texture. So you can see that's what our texture is looking like. Now we want to get our normal map out, and again we can look at the level here and see how much that gives us. And on this one, let's go ahead and just leave it at level 1, and we'll go ahead and calculate our normal map. You can see that located here. Alright, and then we'll just work our way down to these bony pieces, and these were created in ZBrush here. So we'll go ahead and create a new texture from polypaint, and you can see the texture loaded up there. And now we can go ahead and dial this down and see what level we want to actually bring that out. And so I think that's probably will work fine. So we'll go to normal map, and let's create a normal map from those. You can see those located there. And then we just have one more piece, I believe, which is these drips here. And really they're just a base color. So if you want to, I didn't really do much in the way of painting on this, so if you want to, you can leave the texture map to be. So if I go ahead and create a new one, it's basically just kind of a red. So if you want to, you can kind of leave that off, and we can just create that red color in Cinema 4D. But I'm going to go ahead and create a normal map, and I'll make sure we get to the lower level here. And we'll go ahead and create a normal map. Okay. And so now, once we've got the textures created and the normal maps created, let's go ahead, and I want to take all of this geometry out to Cinema 4D. So right next to Go Z, there's a button for all. So we're going to export all subtools to Go Z enabled application, which in this case is Cinema 4D. So we'll say all, and we'll say continue. So it's going to go through the process of taking all of these pieces. Now you could also export these as OBJs and also save out the texture files, and in some of our other courses that's what we do. But in this case, we wanted to look at actually using GOZ, which is a really powerful way of just really quickly getting our geometry here into another application. And so here you can see that our geometry's been brought into Cinema 4D automatically, and all of these materials have been assigned. And so, for instance, if we take a look at the bony hilt, you can see that we have the color map assigned, and you can see the location of that particular texture file if you need to go find it. And we also have a normal map applied to it, and again you can see the location of that as well. And we've also got some specularity assigned to it. So now we can start to modify our materials. So let me go ahead and turn on our OpenGL and turn off our grid. Okay, and so some of these are a little bit hard to see because of the specularity. So if you want to take the specular, take that down a little bit. Let me change it up a bit. I'll go back to plastic there. And it may look a little bit funny, but if you go ahead and render that, it's going to look a little bit better. You can see the raised areas here. So now that we've got our detail out in the form of normal maps and color maps, let's go ahead and in the next lesson look at just tweaking the materials and just making this look a little bit better with the materials that we have and also with the maps that we have, and then we'll finish up. Okay, so we'll do that in the next lesson.